Hello, everyone. My name is Marion with DTM Real Talk Channel. It's the channel that you can tune into, have the ability to listen to the thoughts of others about topics all over the world that touch every one of our lives. Everybody goes through basically the same thing. There is nothing new under the sun. So if you're going through, someone else has already been there. Maybe you can find hope. Maybe it's a pathway that can set you on the right road just by tuning in. So DTM Real Talk, just keeping it real. And if you like it, like us at the bottom, subscribe, and let us know just how we helped you. Just keeping it real. Nothing but love. Good evening. This is DTM Real Talk, and we're just keeping it real this week. We are back, Cleveland, and I.
We're back at it.
We're back at it. And if you watched this last week, I'm going to name, last week was Love at First Sight. I think that's a fitting title, don't you think?
Yeah, it's fitting. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's right.
Talked about, shared with us how he was reared in a very good Christian family with mom and dad. And, they traveled and he didn't even know he was poor.
That's right.
Because every need he had was met. And he shared with us on last week how that he met his wife when they were about 11, 12, 13 or something, playing on the phone. How about that, y'all? And still married her. Married her later on when he turned 18 and they finally met face to face, dated, and her mom signed her over.
That's right.
His wife. And they have, 4 lovely children?
4, yes. All grown, thank God.
All grown and gone now. 1 girl and 3 boys.
That's
and
right.
He shared with us how they would just fuss and make up. Fight and make up. I think they like the making up part.
Yeah.
So they would just fuss and make up. And the last he shared with us, guys, which is why we're back here, so he can share with us, the Lord has saw fit to take her home. So we're going to talk about that. Can you handle that, Cleburne?
Yeah, I can. For a long time, I haven't been able to without breaking down.
Yeah.
And I really don't like discussing it, but I have to. I can't run from it.
Right.
But yeah, I can handle it. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Let's talk about before that happened. Was she ill? What happened?
Well, my wife had always had kind of bad health. She was in constant pain. She had 2 dislocated discs in her back that caused her constant pain. She couldn't sit too long. She couldn't stand too long. That gave her constant problems. But along with dealing with that, she had a lot of issues, just like her body was just attacking her. If it wasn't one thing that was going on with my wife, it was something else that was going on with her. But she literally had a life of pain.
Wow.
And so the doctors was prescribing her, pain medications to kind of, help her, deal with the pain. In my opinion, my wife actually got, addicted to the pain killers. Just to stay out of pain. I mean, she was in pain constantly. So I'm talking about the last 10 years of our marriage. When I tell you I was in the hospital or at the hospital, if not weekly, monthly, it was all the time because she was always, something was going on with her health. So finally, what happened with her passing, it's so sad. I feel so much guilt over it. And I guess we'll get to that in a little bit. I kind of try to stick with what you're asking me. But the health of my wife just deteriorated, basically dealing with pain. And I believe that all the medications and things that she was taking to try to, alleviate that pain, it got too much for her body.
Wow. So she was taking a lot of pain medication, and you're persuaded that a lot of that had to do
with
Yeah.
hastening.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. I know that there are many men, but since you're a man, we'll say men. We say many men and women, but you're a man, and I know that there are many men of God out there today that have experienced what you're experiencing. Um, can you talk about um, some of the feelings that you have in reference to regrets or guilt, or what are some of the feelings that you have had since she's been gone?
Mainly, when you are actually going through the process, you don't think your spouse is going anywhere, right? I mean, you're gonna live forever. We know we're gonna die, but we don't think we're gonna see the day where our spouse would pass. One of the things I do regret is that many times when my wife would tell me that she was in pain, I bet, oh my goodness, here we go again. If I had to go to the hospital again. And it wasn't so much that I was angry at her, I was angry at the doctors and the whole medical establishment because, in my opinion, the doctors are trained to say, oh, we've looked, we run these tests and nothing is wrong. But my wife is hurting. She's not making it up. I mean,
Right.
I see the pain that she's in. Every time we come to this place, it doesn't matter what hospital, it didn't matter what doctor we went to, we got the same news. Nothing's wrong. Everything's okay. This is normal and that is no. Well, Queen Mother, that gets frustrating.
Yeah.
Right. And so when it comes to the point where when we're at home and she's feeling bad, she feels like, hey, I need to get to the doctor. Now I'm getting frustrated. Well, they ain't gonna do nothing, right? I'm kind of just being transparent on how I will react sometimes.
Sure.
Like, baby, come on, we stay in the hospital. These people ain't gonna see you. They're gonna say something is wrong. Why don't you just lay down, try to relax or whatnot? And I put a lot of grief on my wife. I made her feel like she was a burden to me, like she was getting on my nerve because I was just so tired of the back and forth.
Right.
Now that she's gone, I hate that I ever did that. Anytime she told me anything that was wrong with her, I should have been on, where I should have just dealt with my own issues. Never should have even let her see.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I can't only imagine. Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine.
You have a lot of regret when you have done anything negative to the one you love and they're gone.
Right. 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 And so
It's
are you
painful.
are you getting some therapy now? Or are you talking to someone? Because
No,
as I understand it, you are a pastor. So you
yeah.
dealing with the flock and dealing with the people. But have you dealt with you? Are you dealing with you? Honestly.
No, where does the pastor go when the pastor is the one that is helping everybody else? I haven't had time to it's been business as usual since my wife passed because not only was my wife, she was my member, she was a member, I was her pastor.
Right.
I eulogized my wife.
Wow.
She had always asked me that if she was able to pass or whatever, would I preach her funeral. Of course, I'd be like, girl, you ain't going nowhere. We gonna go out in the rapture together. I've already prayed, asked God, please, let us be alive and remain until the coming of the Lord, and we just both go. So I never thought that would happen. I was seriously praying and believing God that we would be alive. Who doesn't want to be alive? Who wants to die?
Right.
It's been so hard. I haven't I haven't talked to anyone except when people call to check in on me.
Sure.
But if no one is calling, checking in, I mean, who do I talk to? Where do I go? I just kind of deal with it on my own.
Right. Right.
I'm not reluctant to it. I just,
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I say it all the time. Every pastor needs a pastor. If you're the smartest one in the room, your room is too small.
Right.
Every coach needs a coach. I have mentors. I'm a coach, but I have coaches.
Hmm.
Every pastor needs a pastor, and every pastor who ain't got no pastor, we got problems.
Yeah.
When I say that, I mean someone that you look up to, someone that can pour into you, because you're spending all of your life pouring into somebody else. So you have to be replenished some kind of way. And the word of God is sufficient. However, God has made us community. You know that. He said
Hmm.
we ought to encourage one another. We ought to pray for one another. I can't encourage you if I don't know what you're going through.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can pray for you and I don't have to know. But to encourage, sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. And especially somebody who's gone through what you've gone through, that actually understands what you feel. Because a lot
Hmm.
of times we could say, I understand. And now that's why I don't say that no more. I say, I can only imagine.
Right.
Because I know
Right.
what you went through,
Well, I tell you what, like I said, I have been so busy with life, with ministry, and with work. That's that's kind of how I've been
And
dealing with it.
that's how you've been dealing with it.
Yeah.
Okay, Queen Mother is about to speak. Don't have me come down there and put it on you now.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
Need somebody to talk to. The Bible says, and I ain't talking to you as the preacher, I'm talking to you as my brother and my son. In the multitude of counselors, there's safety. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed.
Mm.
You feel me?
I do. You're right. Yeah.
So
You're right.
after this call, I'll come highly recommending quite a few people to you, maybe two, that
All
has
right.
gone through what you've been through. I'll recommend two to you. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
okay, all right, good folks. We finished. He finished with his whipping now. But anyway, you definitely need to take care of you so that you can continue to take care of the people of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
At an apex, you're hiding right now behind that, and you need to deal with that so that you can go forth in the mighty strength of God.
Yeah. And let me say this. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. Can I go to my dad? Of course.
of
My
course you
brother.
go to your dad.
You
Of
know,
course you
any
go to
any
your brother.
one of my brothers, I can go to. Plenty of people that I can go to. I think it's just something. I don't know. Is it pride? I don't know.
Oh Lord, he's singing it truth. He's
I
singing
mean,
it truth.
you know, I'm. How do I say it without sounding stupid? Okay, I'm the counselor. I'm the one that people come to and need help with this, that, and the other, right?
Yes, yes.
uh how do I look being vulnerable and broken in front of people?
Now I'm gonna,
Just by
yeah,
nature, I'm a private person. I don't like people knowing my business. I'm
I
just
know.
gonna be I don't like that, right? I don't like people knowing my business. My wife was like big on PDA, public displays of affection. I just I hate that, she didn't care.
Really?
I hate it. I just don't like being exposed. Right? I don't like being
Now
exposed.
that I can say I understand too.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of that, comes in, and plays a big part in what I'm going through as well. But I tell you what, I feel like I'm okay, but I know I'm not because I really haven't had the proper time or the means to really deal with the reality that I'm facing right now. And that's why I can't even speak about it too long without,
Yeah.
breaking down or
And
having
it's
to just shut it
okay.
off.
It's okay. You need to break down. Y'all, man, that's that P word. You said it
Pride.
yourself. You said it yourself. That's that P word. And see,
Yeah.
here's the thing. You've ministered to your people and you've done well, but you can't do it at 100 if you haven't dealt with yourself. I'm
Right.
not saying you can't do it because you're still doing it, but I'm
Right.
saying you can't do it at its apex because you haven't dealt with you.
Yeah, that's wisdom.
Yeah, you haven't dealt with you. And yes, you can go to your father, and yes, you can go to your brother, but they can only say, I can only imagine. That's what they can say because they
Mm-hmm.
got wives.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Right.
they say to you. But if you talk to someone that has gone through what you've gone through, they can say, I truly understand.
Right.
I know where you are. I felt what you feel. I feel what you feel. As a matter of fact, I felt a little worse, and I'm gonna tell it to you like this. That's what they can tell you because they've been through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And let me throw this in here. And I don't know why you want to interview me, because I'm like, I'm gonna bring down your whole, this is entitled this thunderstorm, because it's just finna just dump a parade, or just gonna dump on everybody's parade. But I feel like in my life, like I said on last week, as much, you know, greatness and goodness I've had in my life, it's been filled with pain that either matches or exceeds
wow.
that I call good. And I just give you this little information. And this is what I'm feeling. I'm the only one in my family who has went through and suffered what I have suffered. And every life keeps happening to me. And I'm wondering, why does life keep happening to me? The 4 children I told you about were all taken from me and my wife by CPS. We missed their upbringing due to things I'm not about to get into, but all falsely accusations got my children taken away from me. You know, the pain that caused me as a man, and to add on top of that, the pain that my wife went through as a mother, whose love is far greater and different than a dad's love is for his children. I could do nothing for her in that. I couldn't get the kids back. Nobody else lost their kids. Everybody in my family got their kids. Then it brought a great rift in our family. That family that was close knit, because of the situation with my children being taken, it drew a rift in our family.
Wow.
Because one side of the family forgot we were family and did some of the most evil mess that they could have done to anyone, that caused the rift in the family. I know I'm being vague, and I'm doing it on purpose because it's too personal but that's the point, okay? Nobody else in my family lost their children. Nobody. And I'm glad that, but I'm just showing you how life keeps happening to me. And I'm like, for what? Okay. Then not only that, then after the pain and all the court proceedings, financial distress that has been coming out of my pocket and others, just to help get us through these many years of legal fees. Nobody else is going through that. And then my beloved wife dies. Nobody else's wife is gone. Mine is gone. So in my family, I have everyone I can talk to. I love them all. You know, I wish them all well. But in my story, I promise you, it's been a Job experience. No, I'm not perfect. I have sinned against God. God could not tell Satan, this is a man who hates evil and loves good. I did not, you know, after Satan attacked me, I did not fall on my knees. And the first thing I did was worship God. I didn't do that what Job did. And neither did I have the integrity of Job not to accuse God. I got angry at God many times. I mean, mad, outright mad. Now, who am I to be mad at the Creator? But I didn't understand. I'm like, man, I'm sick of this. If it's not one thing, it's another that has happened to me and my family that is not happening to anybody else. And so that's what I'm telling you. If I would tell you the whole story about what's going on with me, I'm telling you, it's by the grace of God. It's a sheer miracle right now that I'm still relatively happy. Faith is still in God. If I didn't tell you I was going through something, you wouldn't know it. That's God's grace. I'm not trying to pretend. That's actually just by the grace of God. But I've suffered a lot of pain, and I've gone through a lot you know, and I'm just tired of it. And I have actually been a shell, Miss Marion. Yeah, I've still been ministering to God's people. I've still been doing what I'm supposed to do, but I've had no joy in it. Since my wife passed and her body went into that grave, I went in there with her. I'm a shell. yeah, I have to do things with my whole heart, and I try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I'm miserable while I'm doing what God is telling me to do.
Right.
Am I really joyful and happy about it? I would have to say no, because I just feel like I've just suffered so much disappointment and pain, and I don't know why, you
Mm.
know. And I don't know. I'm just a shell. I'm just going through the motions. I'm just
Right.
living. And that is a shame to me as a pastor, to kind of have that kind of an attitude and yet still be, a spiritual leader. But I'm human. I'm still a man at the end of the day. And just being open and honest, I
Right.
just feel empty. I feel absolutely empty.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you already know David felt that way too when he had sinned against God. And yet, I mean, Job felt the same way. He felt empty in the things he was going through. He did
Mhm.
question God. If you really read it carefully, he did. But then at
Mhm.
the end of the day, he came to he expressed his feelings, his
Mhm.
emotions, the same thing you're doing. You're expressing what you're feeling. And there's nothing wrong with expressing your feelings. You're still in the flesh, but you're not following them. You're still ministering to the people of God. You're hurting. Those are emotions that God has given us. The thing is not to let them overtake you. And how do you do that? Focus and getting someone to talk to, because we're community. Just need to talk to someone that's been through what you've been through, that felt what you felt, that
Mhm.
knows exactly how you feel. The word of God is sufficient. Sometimes you just need somebody to hold it up in front of you. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I thank you for your transparency, because there are so many other men out there that have lost a wife, you know, and going through the same thing. And they're thinking, I'm the only one. And because you
Yeah.
talking, they're saying, oh, I'm not the only one. That's
Yeah.
the purpose of this channel, to let the
Yeah.
world know that we're just like you all. We're no better than you. We're better
Right. I like that. Yeah,
because
I like that.
I'm no better than the person that doesn't have a relationship with God. I'm just better off.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that.
Fall back on you don't.
Yeah.
And it's only God, it's by his power and his strength that you are here. It's him that's been keeping you even in the midst of what you're going through. You just
Mhm.
don't smell like what you've been through. That's all.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You
You're
don't
right about
smell like
that.
it because don't nobody know, except for the day they go watch this thing and say, "Oh, I didn't know you went through that."
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
might ever say you don't know the half, but I'm
Yeah.
still
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I'm in the middle. I mean, we have God's promises, right? Weeping may endure for a night,
here.
joy comes in the morning. And I'm looking for that joy. I know it's coming because God is a God that does not lie.
Yes,
He's,
absolutely.
I mean, God has always saved his people, but when you're in between, promise and
Sure.
fulfillment, that's when it's dark. That's when it's hard. That's when you really gotta hunker
Absolutely.
down and really lean on your faith. Because I know that a brighter day is coming, and I'm not a woe is me person. I'm not the only one that has experienced children being taken. I'm not the only one who has experienced the loss of a wife, or so if it's not one thing happening to a person, it's another. I know I'm not the only one,
Right.
but as much as I know those facts, it doesn't
It's
change the
still
way
hurt.
you feel.
That's
You
right.
feel like you're the only
That's right.
one.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. Well,
yeah,
with that said, and you know you're not the only one. I ain't gonna tell you not to feel your feelings. I want you to feel them, because
yeah,
they're not just for you, they're for somebody else too.
yeah.
Scripture says, I will bless the Lord at all times. And that's what you're doing. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My
Yes,
soul shall make her boast in the Lord. Here's what
yes,
I want you to hear. And the humble shall hear about it
yes,
and be glad. So while you're going through what you're going through, I don't know all of it, but I know it's for somebody to
yeah,
hear and be glad.
yeah,
You're going through what you're going through, that God might be put on display in your life. that somebody could see you, know what you're going through, and see God and say, dang, he
Yeah.
don't smell like what he been through.
There you go. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to God be the glory. I'm going to be praying for you, and we're going to talk later because I got a couple of people I can refer you to that's
Okay.
been through what you've been through.
I appreciate that.
Feel what you're feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with that said, this is DTM Real Talk, and we just want to tell you that a personal relationship with Jesus is dope, as the young folks say.
Yes, it is.
It is, because we gonna feel what we feel, but we don't live by our feelings. We live by faith, and it's a difficult time in the in between, like Cleburne said. It's difficult in the in between. But just like, I ain't into football, but just a little bit. Just like you know the end of the game, you already know the Dodgers gonna win. You know this already. You done seen the replays. You know the moves they're gonna make. But guess what? They'll look like they're gonna make it, but you know they're gonna make it, right?
That's right.
The end is always victorious. We gonna make it. You gonna make it, my baby. You gonna
Amen. I receive that.
The manifestation just hasn't manifested itself just yet, but you're gonna make it. You're victorious. You're more than a conqueror. And here's the good thing: no weapon formed against you is gonna prosper.
Amen.
No
Amen.
weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises up against you will be condemned. You feel me? So forget the words of the family. Yeah, they're gonna do it, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be like a stab right there. But Lord, they ain't gonna prosper. Jesus.
There you go. I receive that.
Receive it, because I had to go through the same thing. I ain't lost nobody. Thank you, Jesus. I lost the two most precious people in my life, my mom and my daddy. I was in a funk for 2 days. I was, but I'm up now.
I hear you.
I'm feeling.
Yeah, God is faithful.
Well, thank you so much, so much, so much. And we're going to get together one of these good old days.
All right.
Before the Lord come back.
That's right. I'm looking forward to it.
You're going to preach, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to sing before you preach. I'm going to say, that boy don't say he don't know me no more.
All right. Now, you know what? I'm going to hold you to that. So, next time I'm preaching somewhere, I'm going to have you come and you sing before I get up there.
All right. I'm going to let SDP and Pumpkin know when I'm coming down.
All right.
With that said, this is DTM Real Talk, y'all, and we just doing what?
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. We'll see y'all next week.
God bless you, everybody.
Thanks for watching DTM Real Talk. Be sure to join us for more conversation. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe while you're there.